jet bridges bound for the Argyle International Airport arrived at Port Kingston on Monday, July 13, 2015. On Thursday, July 16th, a small ceremony held mainly for the media to update the public was held on the wharf. This ceremony was addressed by CEO of the IADC, Dr. Rudy Matthias, Project Manager of ThyssenKrupp, Manuel Torres, and Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves. Addressing the gathering first, Dr. Matthias gave a brief overview of the work currently being done on the site.
Right at this time, we have a firm from New Zealand installing the conveyor belts, and they are on track to get that work done by the end of this month, July. As they do that work, we are also expecting to start the installation of the scanners. All of the scanners are going to be installed also in the latter half of this month, so that by the end of July, we will have in place all the conveyor belts in both terminals, the international terminal and the domestic terminal. And all of the scanners will have also been installed. The scanners are here in St. Vincent, and that process of installing them will begin next week early. We have a small contract with OECC, and they have been working on several small things for us within the terminal building. And I can tell you that one of the things that they have been doing for us is to do the partitions and prepare the administration offices. So that right now they are out there completing the installation of partitions and desks and other furniture within the administrative part of the terminal building. And we expect that within another week or so, that work would be completed. And perhaps Jennifer might take her camera into those rooms to give you a sense of the quality of the finishes that have been, the finishing work that has been done there. What remains to be done essentially to the terminal building are, one, to put in the counters, public seating, and some systems. We have placed an order for the public seating and the counters. And the counters we expect, and we talk here counters, we're talking about the check-in counters for the airlines and those counters that the immigration and customs will be using, and the other pieces of furniture that go with those counters and tables and so on like that. We expect that work will be completed by the end of August or thereabouts. The counters will start arriving in early August, and because they are already made, it's a simple matter of installing them. But we expect the seating to arrive. They have been shipped from China. They were shipped this week from China, and because of the distance from which they're coming, we don't expect them here until early September. But then of course seating, chairs and desks and so on, they are just to simply install in their positions. I am telling you all this so that you would get a sense that by the end of September, we believe that the terminal building would have been substantially retrofitted to allow us to start operations of the Argyle International Airport. I'm not saying that all we need to do to start the operations at Argyle is to have the terminal building retrofitted, but I'm saying that by the end of September, most of what we need in the terminal building would have been in place by the end of September. We do have some work to do on the air side, and I'm sure everybody is looking and can see that we are making good progress with the pavement works. But this month, July, tends to be one of the wettest months for us at Argyle, and the rate at which we can proceed in July tends to be a bit slower than how we are able to go in the relatively drier months. So we haven't been able to do very much work in July, and truly that is hardly any fault of ours. We know that it is going to be a wet month, so in our calculations of when we can complete the work, we took that into account. And that is why we said that we would try to complete the construction of the airside works by the end of September. Now if we miss some time and we go over into October, I hope that people don't hold us over the barrel for that.
Manuel Torres is the project manager on the ground from ThyssenKrupp. He also addressed the gathering.
We're excited to be part of this project. We've been involved in the coordination and planning since early 2014. It has taken a lot of coordination with IADC's engineering team, the general contractor, to be able to custom design the equipment that you see here at Port Now. The equipment that you see here behind you arrived this week, and we're in the process of being able to get it from this point into Argyle, planning the logistics, customs clearance, and so forth. We have 2 passenger boarding bridges that we'll be installing starting next Monday. 2 gates at the terminal that we're adapting these to. Gate 1, Gate 2. We have, due to the layout of the terminal and the apron, we have a vehicular pathway that we're having to extend out, and as a result we have fixed walkways that allow us to get from the terminal over onto the runway, the apron. From that point on, we have 2 of the passenger boarding bridges that will be connected. These machines are operated via a hydraulic electric system that allows the operator, airline agent, or ground personnel to mobilize the equipment to adapt to different ranges of aircraft, 737, 767, Airbus. Once the aircraft or the passenger boarding bridge is on the aircraft, this allows the passenger to essentially walk under a controlled environment onto the aircraft. The visibility of the view that is at Argyle beachfront. So that gives them that access and that closeness to the ocean. The equipment as well is adapted to with air conditioning, so they'll have that comfort going from the terminal through the passenger boarding bridge system and onto the aircraft. The equipment itself, as you can see, is quite large. Boarding bridge measures approximately 18 meters in length and weighs about 15 to 17,000 kilos. We're now working on the logistics, as I mentioned earlier, to get it from here into Argyle, which is a challenge in itself. But we've been able to find local resources that are willing and excited to be able to get this process done. And again, that's something I need to emphasize, is just the coordination with the Port Authority here, and I want to thank them for that. And then just the willingness of everyone involved to get this project moving forward. And we're excited to start that. Installation activities will be commencing on Monday, the 20th of July. We are estimating in taking approximately 3 weeks to install. We're bringing in a specialized team of installers from the U.S. They'll be here on Sunday, and we're ready to roll our sleeves up and start working. Again, 3 weeks for the installation process. We're estimating another week for the commissioning process and training of personnel that's going to be utilizing the equipment so they can utilize it safely and efficiently. And start again moving forward with this aspect of the project. So we're very excited, and again, we're here. The equipment is here, and we're moving forward with this.
Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, speaking to the gathering, pointed out why the occasion of the arrival of the jet bridges was such an important one.
Not every significant piece of equipment that comes in for the airport that you necessarily require a press briefing. But these 2 air bridges are of great importance for the functioning of Argyle International Airport and for the competitiveness of the airport. And we must bear these things in mind. There are several of our competitors in the region nearby, they do not have air bridges. As you are aware, Barbados does not. The Grantley Adams International Airport does not have any air bridge. Hewanora in St. Lucia does not have. Morris Bishop Airport in Grenada International Airport does not have. The new terminal in Antigua is now Mr. Torres' company is installing air bridges there. I happen to know, going for instance to the main airport in Jamaica at Palisadoes, the Norman Manley International Airport, it's only a couple years ago, quite recently, when they were expanding and renovating the airport, that they have put in air bridges. Now, those who are not familiar with these air bridges may be asking, why is it that you are making such a big thing about these? Well, just think of this. St. Vincent our country has an annual average rainfall of 100 inches of rain. Quite a lot of rain. And there are some months, at least some days, several days in some months, you have a lot of rain. Now, just think of this. You take a flight from London to come to St. Vincent, from New York or Toronto, or indeed from Kingston, Jamaica. One from London, you know that flight, about 8 hours. New York is 5 hours and a bit. Kingston is about 3 hours plus. And after you have been on your plane, your aircraft as a passenger for several hours, and when you arrive and it starts to rain or it is raining, you know how irritable you get. Even when you are in Liat going to Barbados and you only have 50 passengers on board, much less to when you have a much larger number aboard. The air conditioning system is not working on the plane. People standing up in the passageway, they're coming out, they're told to sit down because the umbrellas are not yet there. The buses to come on the tarmac to take you. It's not a good experience. You know that and I know that. Now, I promise you, the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and I promise particularly the young people, because this airport is not about Ralph. A lot of people personalize a lot of things about Ralph. I guess that is the case if you have a strong personality like Ralph. And if you have been around as Prime Minister for almost 15 years, there's a tendency is Ralph. But the real benefits of the airport, you're going to see it when Ralph is dead. Because I have the average lifespan of a Vincentian male is 74, and I'm going to be 69 in August, so it's 5 more. Of course, I may get a few more by reason of strength and good living, as brought us, so to speak. But really, this is for you all, the young people. And I don't want, after I'm finished, I don't want you to say, well, look, He left the airport for us, and we have to go and spend now, in 10 years' time, so many millions of dollars to put in Airbridges. Because, mark my word, whether you bring them now or you bring them 15 or 20 years hence, you have to bring them. And you're only going to make life more uncomfortable and difficult for the period. It's the same way in which the airport is designed in a manner that you don't have to do anything to it for another 30 plus years. Of course, you have to maintain it. You see Antigua and Barbuda, their airport, how they have to spend a lot of money now to redo their terminal building because of the way it was done first. What you will have to do any extension 30 something years from now is not going to be significant. That's how we are building it. And we have enough space. I just want you to know that. So I'm not just thinking about today. It's not easy to find the money for these. People may say it's not necessary. The contract for these is 1.9 million US, to purchase them and to have them taken from here to Argyle and to be installed for the 3-4 weeks that they're taking them to do so. And then, of course, once you're doing that, the OECC, which built the terminal building, they have to be there too. They have to do some minor reconfiguration in where they're being fitted in. Not anything of engineeringly straightforward. I could have said simply, don't worry about it. Man, we don't got the money, man. But you know my attitude. It's all right, it's absolutely necessary, I'll find the money. And I'm not finding the money from the treasury. Finding the money from other sources. I just want you to appreciate that. Dr. Matthias spoke to you about completion and operation of the airport. As I told the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines in February in Parliament, I gave them all the timelines that were given to me, and I told you that I find the timelines given to me were reasonable. And you heard Dr. Matthias again repeating those timelines. There are several matters which are being done additional out there, which are not absolutely necessary for the commencement of operation of the airport. Take, for instance, we have made a decision to install, to begin with, 1 megawatt of solar power, to install that out there. That's going to cost over $3 million US. It would normally cost that amount if we just do it flat. But the design, I've been advised and I've seen the drawings and they have been explained to me. Rather than putting the panels, the solar panels flat, they're going to be elevated. So there's a cost. And by the car park, there's going to be part of it covered and tiled, and it's going to be lit It's very sophisticated and modern stuff. And you ask me where I have the money. Well, I have $750,000 from US, from the CARICOM Development Fund. It's agreed on already. They had to come here to do the signing with me. How did we get that money? You remember a few years ago I went to Turkey? Yes. We got resources before, but these are resources which had come. And when I go, I don't only go for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, I go for CARICOM, and I ask for the CARICOM Development Fund, which is an integral part of the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas for the assistance of disadvantaged economies, regions, and sectors. You can read the CARICOM, the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, and find those words. All of these things connect, you know. So that's $750,000. Then the youngsters whom I have in the energy unit, they did the back groundwork and the lots of other technical work until they were ready to sign off. We're getting $400,000 US as a grant from the GEF, GEF. It's a global environmental fund. So that would be $1.1 million, so I'm some distance away from the 3 point something. So I negotiate a soft loan with the Taiwanese. They have agreed in principle, and we are now working out the terms. And we have had discussions. We have had a proposal from a Taiwanese company known as SpeedTech. They came, I've had discussions with them. Dr. Matthias and his team, they've had discussions. They've involved with VINLEC. In fact, just earlier this week, it was Monday, I had a discussion with the Taiwanese embassy officials, plus VINLEC, the energy unit, Dr. Matthias, the Director General of Finance and Planning. Because what I do when I'm having a meeting, I have a meeting with everybody. The Director General of Finance and Planning is important, even though he is not a technical man in electricity. He's on the board, VINLEC board, but he's also on the loan dimension. He has to be brought in early so that I don't have to double up my work. I do that and I take decisions there, and then report to Cabinet and have those decisions endorsed, because I would have already discussed it on an ongoing basis, what I'm doing with Cabinet on the matter. That's how I involve myself in the decision making to have the matters proceed expeditiously. I've just given you an idea as to how we function as a government and the sort of things what we are doing.